Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's July 29th, 2025, and we are in the Old Testament book, Song of Solomon, and we are going to read chapter 6, verse 4 to 12 today. All right. So we just saw her crisis get resolved in a good way. She thought that maybe he was going to use her and leave her, but you know what? She found him. He didn't go anywhere. He was waiting for her. She's happy. Now we're going to get his story again. So we're going to jump back over to him, and mine calls him the beloved. Yours might call him the shepherd or Solomon or the man. Depends on how you want to interpret this. In fact, this is a good place to talk about that interpretation, because he talks about the wives of Solomon and concubines, and says, "Hey, you're more beautiful than all the wives of Solomon." So that's where some people get the idea that, well, he must be Solomon. Not necessarily say that's wrong, but for me that doesn't quite work, because I think of Solomon and I go, let's see, he had 700 wives and he had 300 concubines. So if he was that in love with this one person, why the other 699 wives and the 300 concubines? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. What does make sense to me is to think of this as that he is just a regular shepherd and she's a regular shepherdess. There's nothing really special about them other than the love that we're seeing here, and God giving them that gift of love. And that when she's comparing him to Solomon, she's thinking of the most amazing male that she would know would be Solomon, and comparing her love to him. And when he is looking at her, he's thinking of the most beautiful, idealistic beauty of his time, which would have been the queen and would have been the harem of Solomon, and comparing her to them. Like today, you know what? I might compare my wife to a movie star or supermodel, and say, you know what? What makes her attractive is what makes my wife attractive. What makes her special makes my wife special. But you know what? In the sense of the marriage, the spouse gets elevated. You know what? That's my ideal. If I describe my ideal, it would be the wife. Same here. When she's thinking about her ideal, yeah, she's going to start to think about Solomon, but by the time she gets to the end, she's talking about the shepherd. When the shepherd is talking about the shepherdess, he starts talking about Solomon's harem, but by the time he gets to the end, she's the one that he's looking at and thinking about. And that's the way it should be in a perfect union. Now, we're not all perfect, and sometimes we slip a little bit, but that's the idea that we're getting here in Song of Solomon, that marriage is a sacred thing in God's eyes, and it's meant to be that way. You know, I'm not elevating my wife above God, but you know what? The most important person in the world is her. And ideally for her, the most important person is me. And if you have that and you have God at the top, you've got a perfectly balanced marriage, and things are going to go pretty well for you. It starts to get out of whack, you start going your separate ways, things start to fall apart. Or even worse, I think she's the most important person in the world, and she thinks she's the most important person. Well, now you've got narcissism, and that's going to break down. We want that perfect balance of, hey, I think you're great, you think I'm great, I'm trying to help you, you're trying to help me, and we're doing it in a union blessed by God. That's what we want to see in Song of Solomon. All right, so enough of that. Enough of talking to me. Let's just get to the poetry here. So, chapter 6, verse 4 to 12. Oh, my love, you are as beautiful as Tisra, lovely as Jerusalem, awesome as an army with banners. Turn your eyes away from me, for they have overcome me. Your hair is like a flock of goats going down from Gilead. Your teeth are like a flock of sheep which have come up from the washing. Everyone bears twins, and none is barren among them. Like a piece of pomegranate are your temples behind your veil. So again, these are similes that make sense back then. Again, shepherd, he's comparing her to the most outstanding things he can think of and lifting her up. Now, qualitatively is how we want to look at these, not necessarily visually. Because visually, I don't know. I don't know how nice a sheep's teeth are, but he did, and he thought she's better than that. All right, let's pick this back up in 8. There are 60 queens and 80 concubines and virgins without number. My dove, my perfect one, is the only one of her mother, the favorite of the one who bore her. The daughters saw her and called her blessed. The queens and the concubines, and they praised her. Who is she who looks forth as the morning, fair as the moon, clear as the sun, awesome as an army with banners? I went down to the garden of nuts to see the verdure of the valley, to see whether the vine had budded and the pomegranates had bloomed. Before I was even aware, my soul had made me as the chariots of my noble people. May God bless the reading of his word. May God bless you. Bye.